Hey guys, my name is Mavi and I've spent the last 14 years in the plastic surgery and beauty industry, working alongside some of the best plastic surgeons in the country. Now I don't work for anybody, so I have unbiased opinions about hundreds of surgeons from across the world, and I can help you achieve the body of your dreams. Hey guys, do I have the episode for you today? We always talk on this show about the mental health roller coaster. And I feel like we've never really gone deep dived into what does it mean? What does that even mean? What's the mental health roller coaster? So today I'm super excited to have Stacey Renee from Pop Recovery Systems. And we're going to really deep dive into what does it mean to have a mental health coach? What is the emotional roller coaster that women go through and men through during surgery? And what are we doing to help them through that journey? Stacy is the head at Pop Recovery Systems of Mental Health, and she's really going to take us through the patient experience. Stacy, thank you so much for being on today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Well, you know what? This week I had one of my girls say something to me that really got me thinking. She asked me, "Does cutting the skin?" Because she had a tummy tuck. Does cutting the skin release stored trauma that was there? And I thought, well, that makes sense that it would. I don't know. I think it does. Let's talk to the experts. So, Stacey, take us through all of the mental health.
The skin removal itself does not remove the trauma. And I think that's the big surprise to everything is people are like, oh, I've been living with this, it's been weighing on me my whole life, and then when they remove the skin, maybe that's a myth. I don't know that everyone thinks that way, but there's a lot that think, okay, once the skin is gone, but that's not true. The trauma is still in the cells in our body, and sometimes we react. So in the mental health part on this roller coaster, what we try to do is give people coping skills that can help them respond rather than react, and to understand the trauma and to have that relationship with that trauma, because having that relationship with that trauma, it's been sitting there, and for whatever reason, it's been hid here, hid there. And even sometimes people have had some therapies and things and understood and worked on their trauma. But going through a surgery process is really interesting because, what I see is when people are told when they have to have an emergency surgery, people are like, oh my gosh, I have to have surgery. And they start freaking out, right? But when people schedule surgery, there's a different mindset to that, and so oftentimes they've seen before and after. And it's great that they can achieve these. They really can. But the problem is they don't see in between a lot of times. And we're fortunate that we have a lot of patients and clients and friends that are so transparent that post all of that journey on here. But still, we, as human beings, sometimes we think we're the exception to the rule, or have that feeling, and we don't even acknowledge or that feeling until we're on the post-surgery side. So with Pop Recovery Systems, we get to work with people and prepare them. I always tell people pre-surgery prep leads to post-surgery success, so because it really does, getting in that mindset. Because when I ask women, especially, but I'm sure it's the case for men, we're getting to work with more and more men. What are you doing to prepare for your surgery? And they're like, well, they're getting their families ready. They're getting their jobs ready. But I'm like, no, what are you doing? So we do, try to encourage them to take 30 days before their surgery, to take 30 minutes a day to get aligned, because there is a lot that goes towards the surgery, and a lot of people don't realize that all the things that you need to prepare for surgery, the supplies, the caretakers, and everything else. And that can be overwhelming, right? So there's the feeling of overwhelming pre-surgery. And then also the excitement and anxiety. And as it gets closer to surgery, the excitement turns more to anxiety. So helping them process through that. Sometimes the anxiety has nothing, a lot of times, has nothing to do with the surgery or the surgeon themselves, because we only work with reputable, qualified, board certified surgeons. So sometimes it has nothing to do with the surgery themselves. Sometimes it is from the past trauma, catastrophizing, thinking, what if this happens? What if that happens? Waiting for the other shoe to fall. A lot of people live life like that. That's their default system. So we are very fortunate, and we hope that what we do in the pre-surgery to prepare them for the post-surgery. And thing is the skin removal in itself won't bring them confidence, because a lot of people say, oh, I want confidence. And they will be confident with the way that they look, but will they be confident with the way that they feel? So what we work with is helping them heal so that they can feel better and have that self-esteem, because they're going to develop self-esteem through the surgery process or not.
True.
They have the opportunity to heal the inside while the physical part's healing too.
And I feel that is so amazing. Honestly, before this journey, before this Pop Recovery Systems journey, I don't think we had any resources for women who were on their plastic surgery journey, for their mental health, and for their nutrition all in one place. That was one of the main reasons why when I met you guys, you and Laura, if you guys go back to listen to our episode of post-op depression, I had Stacey and Laura from Pop Recovery Systems. Laura shared her story of how she went through the surgical journey and experienced post-op depression. And on that episode, I said, you're my first girl who has ever been so open to really want to come up and talk about it, because I hear about it all the time and I'm always asking, do you want to come talk about it? Do you want to talk about it on the show? And they always shy away from it. But Laura was the first one who really stood and said, hey, this is what happened to me. And I know I'm not alone. And when she approached me, I knew this is something that we need in our community, because I've had heard it so many times from women experiencing it during their surgical journey. And like I've said so many times before, there's only so much that I can do to help them other than refer them to somebody who is a professional that can really help them. And it's kind of a an area, a gray area, because like we do have Dr. Alan Goodwin, we do have some mental health experts who specialize in plastic surgery, but it's not very many, and you really have to look. So when Laura approached me with all of this, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be amazing, because so many women need this. The mental health aspect, but also the nutritional aspect. Because how many times do I see, or any of you guys, if you're looking online and you see tummy tuck incisions that are opening up, brachioplasties that are open, they're not closing right. And a lot of times the doctors are blamed, or the staff is blamed, or something happened. But in reality, it's that patient's not eating correctly. They're not having enough protein. They're not eating enough calories. Their body is not eating, and they can't heal. And that nutritional aspect is so important, as well as the mental health aspect, because we all know they all go together. If your stomach and your gut is happy, overall you're probably going to be pretty happy. So in the course of working together with Pop Recovery Systems, finding a team of women who really supported each other, really believed in the mission that we were working together with, and believed that our patients and our girls, our clients deserved it. They deserve better. You deserve better. You deserve to have a full journey encompassing everything that you need. So it's not just, you guys, so many times, y'all know I help so many girls through their surgery, and I can't tell you how many times we're at the end, we're at the surgery, and then it's like, well, now what? Okay, I had the surgery, like all of this hyper focusing that had been happening before surgery to get to surgery day. And then it's like, okay, now hurry up and wait and heal.
Yeah, it's like the 6 weeks before surgery with the excitement. It's like, oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. It seems so long. But then the 6 weeks post surgery seems even longer, because most of the clients that I work with, they didn't expect that it's going to take this long. 6 weeks seems even longer on the post-surgery side. And this is the thing, that's why pre-surgery prep is so important, because they don't know that they're going to be laid up for this amount of time, that they're not going to be able to do the things that they used to do for a period of time. They're going to be tired. That's the biggest complaint, is they're so tired and everything. And it's part of the process. But to get mentally prepared pre-surgery helps, and even so, the healing process, like you said, nutrition, and if they get the mindset to create those sustainable results, the surgeons that we work with want them to have sustainable results. They're not just a number. It's not just an in and out. And I was speaking with somebody yesterday. Some people go out of the country for surgery, and in some countries, the behavior is different than in America, as far as the surgery process goes. So the surgeons here that we work with really care, and they want the people to have the best surgery experience, but they also want them to have those sustainable results. They don't want them to have to go and have a revision,
Mm-hmm.
That's why they have us to help the patients, because not all the time can the patients expose the trauma, like you're saying, especially, at the doctor's office. They may not say this, to be able to process that and go through it. I've had ladies who had canceled their surgeries before, but really wanted surgery. They really wanted to have a difference, but they maybe experienced domestic violence. I've also had women on the other side who I've worked with, who have had the surgery, and then they didn't feel sexy on the other side once they got that body because of childhood trauma, that happened to that little body. So to be able to help them process these feelings and come out and develop this esteem and be able to let go mentally and emotionally of what was wearing on them, that was in that weight. Because the mental and emotional abuse doesn't go away just because the skin goes away.
Let's talk about self-sabotage, because something you just touched on, which is the eating and the mental health, and having the surgery is not going to be a magical cure. I've told you guys so many times, I was one of those people that I thought it was, but it didn't. And then it led me on to this full self-discovery, journey to be the best version of myself. Something that we do come across a lot is women who have the surgery, but they don't change their eating habits. They don't change the things that they were doing. And then before we know it, they're back at the surgeon's office. The surgery didn't work, or my results didn't stay, or, they're blaming the surgeon. But in reality, they did not maintain their results.
That's it. That's it. Sustainability. It does. It calls for a different mindset change to be determined, also to carry this through, because just, okay, after 6 weeks of healing, to be like, okay, I'm done. I can do it. Because surgery doesn't remove bad habits. It doesn't. And bad habits have consequences.
Mm-hmm.
They just do. They always will. So surgery doesn't fix all of that. So there is a self-sabotage. And so there's something we say, in the recovery field, the recovery areas, the same thinking that got you here isn't gonna, you just can't, you just can't have the same thinking that got you to where you were when you do a transformation. Because if you don't transform the thinking with the transformation, it's just not going to work. So being able to Laura, our beautiful bold leader, Laura, says that the only thing more expensive than getting this and getting it done right and making these sustainable life changes, being committed to it, is getting a revision. And that's what happens if we have that self-sabotaging, if we don't take a look at the bad habits and embrace, a lot of this is about acceptance. We work with so many women. You help to empower women. Laura is a very powerful woman, and so that's why it's so beautiful to be on this journey and to be able to watch women be able to have their voices. We have women tell us, I gained my voice through this recovery system, because until they have people listen to them and validate them, because we validate, but we also have compassionate accountability, So to be able to be heard and to hear their words without somebody telling them what they're supposed to think or feel, but to help guide them to empower themselves, that's what we do, you know.
And you know what I love on the other side? They really do learn and they really do listen. But what I want to say is, how many times have we had somebody who was not ready to learn, who was not willing to listen, and who was not ready to change? And what happens?
Well, they typically go back to it's the same thinking, it's that spiral, right? Because we can spiral up or we can spiral down. I mean, spiral goes both ways. But the problem is that if we don't change our thinking, this is why Laura founded this, is because, she found after 3 months out, she wasn't feeling that confidence that she had thought she was going to feel post surgery, and so we just will go crazy on the other side. We'll just be nuts, and there'll be nothing that's ever going to make us happy until the surgery itself won't make us happy.
Mm-mm.
And the surgeons are amazing. It's not the surgeon's fault. And I think that that's what some of the surgeons that we work with are realizing, that they want, their intention is just like ours, to have those sustainable results, because we hope that after women do the program for 12 weeks, that those things that we got to work on in those 12 weeks help them to continue to grow, thrive, and build their lives. We don't, it's not like, that's why it's 12 weeks, is we don't want them to go back to the same behaviors that made them, feel like they were defeated. And I'm not saying everybody feels defeated, because I'm going to have surgery too, and I'm not feeling defeated, and I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that their biggest fear oftentimes when I ask women, so what is it that you wanted to look like? What is it, because we work on how they want to look, how they want to feel, the meditations, visualizations. And so a lot of times women have told me, I just don't want to look like I did. I just don't want to feel like I did. And so when I work with women, I have this thing that we do with the women, and hopefully, we are going to experience defeats in our lives as human beings, and so, but it's my goal when women finish this program, I always do this, even with my girlfriends, it's like, look, this is what we do as women. We push our hair back, dab our eyes, put the shoulders back, the chest out, and then we walk. And that's what an empowered woman does, right? Is we just handle these things. We don't let them defeat us. We have defeats, but we don't let them be defeated. We don't have to be defeated. And so that's my hope, that women walk away with this program, is just little by little. We don't get everything all in one day, and probably not in a lifetime. Little by little, we continue to go spiral upwards rather than downwards. And it does take a mindset and a change and a shift. And certainly surgery is a transformation. And we have the opportunity through that to transform on the inside as well as the outside.
Absolutely. And I really love that you said that the surgery is the opportunity to, like, it's like a trigger for change. And I feel that, like, to the root of my soul, because like I've talked about my own journey, after my surgery, I looked exactly how I wanted to look. Everything was great. I was happy in a lot of parts of my life, but there was a part of my life that I wasn't happy in. And I thought during my surgery that this part of my life would improve, and it didn't. And that triggered me, like, to the max, because I had set my hopes on, hopefully this will make me feel better, be better in this relationship, and then everything's just going to be better. It's going to be great. My life's going to be amazing. And then when it didn't happen exactly like that, my life was great and amazing in other areas of my life that I had put focus into, and the area where I really needed the improvement, it wasn't there. And I started therapy. I started really trying to learn about myself and why I was feeling unhappy, why I would feel triggered by certain things. And it was the surgery. It's so funny because I get this question all the time. Does plastic surgery cause divorce? And I've seen it. I've seen so many women, right? Like thousands of women go through surgery journeys. Not all of them get divorced. A lot of them have amazing surgery journeys and they have amazing partners and they're supportive, and then they go on and they're like the best thing that ever happened to them and their husbands. They're so happy, right? But then on the other side, I've seen so many times situations where women have surgery where they tell me, I, me and my girls, we get close. We get like this. They tell me, I wouldn't leave before because I didn't think anybody would want me. I didn't think anybody would love me. I didn't think I was beautiful enough or pretty enough. And during the surgery, after I had my surgery, and a lot of times they're doing surgery by themselves, the partner's not there, not being supportive, they're doing it for themselves all alone. And then they come out on the other side and they start to feel beautiful and sexy and alive again. And they feel that in them. And then it boosts their confidence to believe, like, I deserve better than this. I deserve more than this treatment that I'm getting, or I deserve more than what this relationship is offering. And then they do go on to get divorced. So whenever people ask me, like, does plastic surgery cause divorce? That's a really hard question to answer because I want to say it doesn't, because it really doesn't. It's the transformation that that woman is going through to believe that she deserves better and to believe that she can have the love of their life, be treated how they want to be treated, and they don't have to take what they were accepting when they thought that they couldn't get any better.
That's so true, because like I was saying, you can't develop confidence without not true confidence without developing self-esteem. And if when we go through this process, we look at some things, because we have a lot of time to think, and that's what pre-surgery prep is about. Because when you're in post-surgery, while you can't exercise, you can't distract yourself from any of the things that you either distracted yourself, from, because sometimes we do distract ourselves through actions. So you can't do that post surgery. So you do have a lot of time to think and evaluate, and you can spend that time, thinking on the positive end, and creating that mindset and everything. And I want to say something else, that, the trauma part, because a lot of times in trauma, people are fragmented. It causes us to fragment when we're waiting for that other shoe to fall. So we learn to, dodge and everything else. And so that's part of distraction as well, and so what happens is, what we're helping people learn pre-surgery is how to regulate themselves. Because once we can regulate, we can be open to developing better coping mechanisms, and everything. Because we talk about addiction, with recovery. And so sometimes it's hand to mouth, no matter what that addiction is. And so we go mind to paper a lot of time, with recovery, or we have somebody to talk out different things we've never thought about. And so sometimes when these girls, like you're saying, they get the surgeries, they start thinking about things they never thought about. And there's other possibilities, instead of, they've learned, because you do develop esteem. You're coming through something that's going to change your
Hard.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard.
These mommy makeover recoveries are tough, you guys. They're not easy. They're tough.
Yes. And it does. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and I said, the thing is when you're on the other side, sometimes it feels isolating. Sometimes you feel alone, because I was talking to somebody who had a surgery before, and I said, that's the thing is, I always suggest to people to get ready to do your pre-surgery prep, not everybody else's, preparation for you to have surgery, your prep, because you're going to be the one laid up post-surgery, and you're going to be the one who can't physically do stuff. And sometimes it seems like the whole world's going on while you're laying.
That, I tell my girls all the time, that's probably one of the things that they don't expect the most. And so many times before, I think now there's a lot more information. Women are looking online to get educated on what to expect during recovery. But before, just a few years ago, just a couple of years ago, they were going preparing up until the day of surgery. And then that was it. Then after that, it was like, oh, okay, well, I didn't even think about this. I didn't even think about that. I hadn't thought about, who's going to be getting my groceries, who's going to be doing these other things. Because I think the hardest thing during the mommy makeover recovery is you're no longer able to get up and go. You
Right.
can barely get up and go to the bathroom. You can barely get up and go walk to the kitchen. So a lot of us, especially moms, losing that independence can kind of trigger a lot of feelings, a lot of emotions and thoughts that we wouldn't have really had time to think of before. You're so right.
Yeah, it makes us evaluate our self-worth, because maybe we're making our worth belong to just being the mom in the family, just being the mom in the family. And that's a big deal, being the mom in the family. And you realize how much you can't do and what you do is being the mom in the family. But if we don't take the prep for ourselves and then we're laid up and we can't do the things that we are used to doing, and we're a great mom, but we feel like we're not a great mom when we're laid up. That mom guilt is really a thing post surgery. It really is. And so when we've esteemed ourselves by what we've done and we keep doing that and not esteeming ourselves on the inside, it's a hit, right? It's a hit. When we esteem ourselves, if we're not a mom, when we esteem ourselves by what we do at the gym or what we do at work, and we can't do the gym, and we can't do work, that's a hit to our esteem. That's how we're esteeming ourselves. So what surgery does is it causes you to go within and to find that acceptance and comfortability from within yourself. It's a beautiful thing. It's so, yeah.
I love it. It's part of why did launch this show, part of why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I saw so many amazing transformations, amazing women that I was like, oh my God, how are you the same girl that I just met 4 weeks ago who was shy in an oversized shirt and sweatpants and didn't feel good about themselves? And now, oh my God, you're walking in here and you're looking amazing. I can see the glow and the confidence in your face. And it wasn't just one time, a couple of times, like every day when I was in clinic, I was seeing these transformations over and over and over again. And I would hear the surgeons talk about it, but not as much as where they're talking about it now. That transformation and how they have the ability to really change somebody's life in a way that that person, that patient is forever thankful, forever grateful. My surgeon, he's the best. I love him. And any chance I get to praise Dr. Newell, y'all know he did my surgery. I'm so thankful because he really did change my life. And my surgeon who did my breast, she really did change my life, because these are things, for example, my breast had been so big for so long. I had been, since I was a kid, I was like a C cup in elementary school. I had a huge breast. Growing up, I had double D's. When I breastfed, they got huge, and then they got deflated. So then they were big and saggy. And that affected that affected my confidence so much, because they were, at least before, they were big and perky. And I could wear tube tops and I could wear spaghetti straps and it was fine because my nipples were still pointing up. But
Uh-huh.
after I breastfed 2 kids, my nipples were not pointing up anymore. They were pointing down.
No, you've been down and it's like, what happened? I had my breast done too. Well, I had mine, just filled back up because kids just nursed it all out.
Yeah, and it's so common. And it's, I would see moms all the time and they're coming in and it's like we all suffer the same thing after breastfeeding and after childbirth.
We
And
do.
so many times my girls would be like, oh, I'm like, they're shy, right? To undress in front of me or undress in front of the doctor, which I experienced it too when I had to get undressed in front of my surgeon. But I always tell them, like, I see so many boobs. I see so many tummies. I see so many naked bodies every day. Like, you are, and not like just another number, but there's nothing that you have that could scare me or could make me think anything about you because I've seen so many before and we're all experiencing the same things over and over and over again in different ways, different sizes, different amounts, but we're all experiencing it. And I feel like knowing as a patient, knowing that there ain't nothing you're going to show me that I haven't seen, girl.
I know. I know. It's about that love and acceptance of ourselves, though, because we do. It's a just a little that we do a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit at a time, and then it's like, oh, you know, yeah, we get to that love and acceptance of ourselves through this journey process, you know, because it's more than people think that it is, but it's so worth it if they get prepared.
If they get prepared. And the mental work really is where it's at. I know online I see a lot of women who have um, procedures that don't end up looking like how they expected it to look. And it always makes me feel so sad because I've experienced so much good, from my surgery, and it hurts me to my core to see another woman who their surgery went wrong and it didn't change their life for the better, it changed their life for the worse. What can, if, because I know I have a lot of my audience has either had surgery or they're thinking about surgery. What's something that you can, a tip that you give for somebody who's on their surgery journey before I let you go, uh, for how they can mentally prepare for surgery?
First off, they do the research on the surgeon. Don't go around the corner in the block to get your surgeon. Do some research. Find make sure that they're board certified and that they are specialized, in their field. So that's one tip. The second tip would be to when they're preparing to prepare themselves for that surgery, to spend 30 minutes a day in meditate breathing, regulating your system when you get to feel anxious about any little thing, to do some breathing exercises, regulate yourself, because that's the opposite of the fragmentation. That's how you're going to clear that fragmentation and those what ifs and that catastrophizing and get clear, because what is attached to surgery is uncertainty. That's people's biggest fear in surgery is uncertainty. If I'm going to make it through, how am I going to look on the other side? So if you breathe, and then get really focused and centered, you're going to start knowing yourself and knowing your body, and having that relationship, because you're going to have a relationship with your body. If you go to surgery, you're going to get a relationship.
You're going to get to know yourself very well.
Yes. And so being able to take those breathing exercises, take 30 minutes a day, at least 30 days before surgery, to yourself, to prepare your mind, to get focused, to focus on what you do want and not give energy to what you don't want. Being conscious, being of conscious mind, because you can't drink 30 days. You can't drink before surgery. You can't smoke before surgery. And so that's coping in itself sometimes. And so really starting those coping practices pre-surgery are going to help you cope post-surgery, because you're right. You can't go back to the same way of life and be happy and not have to go back and get surgery.
Not end up back where you were when you came in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a beautiful piece of advice, Stacey. I am so thankful. Thank you for coming on the show today and sharing your wisdom and sharing your experience with us. If you book me with my VIP package, you get a whole team. So my VIP package includes Stacy, our mental health coach from Pop Recovery Systems, a nutritionist or a nutrition expert. We have dietitians, we have different types of experts, and you get your concierge wellness. So this person, the concierge wellness, we haven't talked about it yet, but this person who I put my whole heart and soul training and coming up with the protocols over here with Chrissy, who's the head. And we really thought about how can we make your whole surgery experience the easiest, the best, the stress free, the most stress free. How can we make it so that they really feel supported? How can we make it so that they don't feel like they have to go look on Google anytime? So my packages include the pop recovery systems. And if I don't know if you guys know, if you follow me on Instagram, Laura and I have been visiting plastic surgeons who we are partnering with for them to offer our services or the services to their patients so that when you leave their office, you leave with your surgery and a whole recovery system. So you have no doubts about what you're supposed to be doing, what you're supposed to be getting, what are you supposed to be eating, what are you supposed to be thinking. We figured it all out and we put it in a nice, beautiful package with a beautiful bow for you so that you can really have the best experience on your surgery journey. And I'm so happy. I'm so thankful. You guys know this is my jam. This is what I do. This is my love. I love this. And we did it with a lot of love. Laura and I really we call this our baby because it's been a labor of love and it's been a labor of really just putting all of our passion behind our mission, which is to keep you safe during your surgery journey. And with that, I will see you guys next week. Thanks, Stacey.
Thank you, Mavi. You have an amazing day.